Every single day, the Transportation Security Administration processes over 2.4 million passengers and confiscates thousands of items from travelers across America. Based on TSA's annual reports showing over 6 million prohibited items surrendered yearly, the math is staggering. That's one confiscated item every 5 seconds around the clock. But here's what will shock you. The most commonly seized items aren't weapons or explosives. They're everyday personal care products that you probably packed this morning without a second thought. The Transportation Security Administration enforces guidelines on what passengers can bring through airport security to ensure safety. These rules apply to both carry-on and checked baggage, with many common items subject to confiscation if they violate limits on size, type, or potential hazard. What's revealing is how these enforcement actions show the gap between security intentions and traveler experiences. In the next few minutes, we'll reveal the truth behind TSA confiscations in 2025, and what we uncover will change how you approach airport security forever. TSA organizes prohibited items into key categories, and understanding these reveals the scope of daily enforcement actions. The official TSA "What Can I Bring?" list provides guidance on permitted and restricted items, but includes this crucial disclaimer. Even allowed items may require additional screening or could be denied if they trigger security concerns. TSA officers make the final determination on every item, and prohibited items typically get discarded immediately since travelers cannot retrieve them. This creates a system where agent discretion plays a significant role in enforcement outcomes. The liquids and gels category represents the highest volume of TSA confiscations, accounting for 80 to 90% of items voluntarily surrendered at checkpoints. This category includes shampoo, lotion, sunscreen, deodorant in gel or aerosol form, and alcoholic beverages over 140 proof. The carry-on rules follow the 311 standard. Containers limited to 3.4 ounces or 100 milliliters each, all fitting in one quart-sized bag, with one bag per passenger. The rules include exemptions for baby items like formula or breast milk in diaper bags, which demonstrates flexibility within the system. In checked baggage, these items are generally allowed under size limits, but high alcohol content beverages over 70% face complete prohibition. The reasoning centers on potential explosive or flammable risks based on intelligence about liquid explosives from aviation security incidents. This category leads confiscations nationwide, creating significant disposal volumes that pose environmental management challenges. At San Francisco International Airport, a traveler had their sunscreen bottle confiscated for exceeding the 3.4-ounce limit by a small margin. With no replacement options available post-security, they faced sun exposure concerns at their destination. This scenario, documented in 2025 traveler reports, illustrates how size restrictions create practical challenges. The 311 rule originated from the 2006 transatlantic aircraft plot involving liquid explosives, establishing current liquid restrictions that remain in effect despite technological advances in screening capabilities. At Albuquerque International Sunport, travelers encountered the additional challenge of limited pre-security disposal options for liquids, forcing difficult decisions about valuable items versus compliance requirements. These enforcement patterns reflect consistent rule application rather than arbitrary decisions, though the practical impact on travelers can feel disproportionate to perceived security benefits. Food items present unique classification challenges where scientific properties meet security screening requirements. This category includes peanut butter, yogurt, jams and preserves, honey, sauces, and protein powder. The carry-on rules treat items as liquids or gels if deemed spreadable, requiring compliance with 311 restrictions. Solid foods may still trigger additional screening or swabbing procedures to test for suspicious residues. In checked baggage, food items are generally permitted if not liquid-like, though perishable items face spoilage risks. The confiscation reasoning focuses on how certain foods can mimic dangerous substances during X-ray screening or test positive for explosive residues during chemical analysis. The subjective nature of spreadable classifications can lead to varying enforcement interpretations between different screening locations and agents. A premium Manuka honey jar was classified as liquid at a checkpoint despite the traveler's protests about its consistency. The $40 jar was confiscated based on TSA's liquid classification guidelines, which consider viscous substances as liquids regardless of their ability to flow. Greek yogurt became the subject of debate when an agent classified it as liquid, while the traveler argued its non-pourable consistency. This incident highlighted the interpretation challenges inherent in food classification policies. Cherry preserves in a small jar were confiscated, while a large sourdough loaf passed through without issue, demonstrating how liquid classification rules create different outcomes for homemade food items. A sealed container of tofu eggless salad was confiscated as liquid during departure screening, despite its solid appearance. These scenarios reflect consistent policy application based on TSA's classification system, though the outcomes can seem inconsistent to travelers unfamiliar with screening criteria. Sharp objects and tools represent legitimate security concerns while also creating confusion about measurement standards and permitted items. This category includes knives of any size, scissors, axes, hatchets, screwdrivers, and multi-tools. Carry-on rules prohibit items with blades over 4 inches, while scissors under 4 inches from pivot point may receive approval. The measurement system requires precise assessment that can challenge both travelers and screening personnel. In checked baggage, these items become acceptable when properly sheathed or wrapped to prevent handling injuries. The different standards between carry-on and checked baggage reflect cabin security priorities versus cargo hold safety considerations. The category addresses potential weapon concerns while accommodating legitimate tool needs through checked baggage options. TSA agents discovered sophisticated knives hidden inside innocent-appearing cans during 2024 and 2025 screening operations. These concealment methods demonstrate genuine security threats that justify vigilant screening procedures and validate certain enforcement priorities. A cigar torch lighter, purchased as a birthday gift, was confiscated due to its flammable fuel content. The sentimental value couldn't override safety regulations, and the item joined thousands of others in TSA's disposal processes. These discoveries show the balance between legitimate security concerns and routine enforcement that affects everyday travelers carrying standard items. Electronics face specific requirements designed to verify functionality and prevent concealed threats. This category includes devices that cannot power on, e-cigarettes and vapes, and lithium battery-powered items. Carry-on rules require that electronic devices must be charged and able to demonstrate normal operation, with lithium batteries preferred in passenger compartments rather than cargo holds. This requirement helps distinguish between legitimate devices and potential threat items. In checked baggage, electronics are generally permitted, though fire risks from lithium batteries receive ongoing monitoring and may face additional restrictions. The power-on requirement serves multiple security functions while creating practical challenges for travelers managing device battery life during extended travel days. TSA agents discovered a vape device cleverly concealed inside a toothpaste tube, representing the ongoing challenge of detecting disguised contraband items. This 2024 to 2025 trend of concealed vaping devices has led to enhanced screening of personal care products. Most people will scroll past this video without subscribing, even though hitting that button helps more than they realize. It takes 2 seconds, but makes a huge difference for content creators trying to share important information like this. The discovery demonstrates both successful threat detection and the ripple effects that create additional screening time for all travelers carrying legitimate personal care items. The flammable and personal care category saw significant policy changes in 2025, particularly affecting travel routines for millions of passengers. This category includes aerosol insecticides, cordless hair tools with butane or gas cartridges, and torch-style lighters. Carry-on rules prohibit aerosols while allowing hair tools without gas cartridges. The key change in 2025 involves cordless styling tools with gas cartridges or butane, which are now prohibited in checked baggage due to cargo hold fire risks. This policy reversal, effective August 2025, requires these items to travel in carry-on compartments, where fire risks can be managed more effectively. The change affects common personal care routines and requires updated packing strategies. The remaining category encompasses diverse items that don't fit standard classifications, but still face screening scrutiny. This includes full water bottles, coffee creamer powder, and medical devices that may appear suspicious during screening. Carry-on rules permit empty bottles while prohibiting full ones, and powders may receive additional testing for explosive residues. Medical items require proper documentation. though documentation doesn't guarantee passage if items trigger security concerns. The broad nature of this category reflects the challenge of creating comprehensive rules for the infinite variety of items travelers attempt to transport. Powdered coffee creamer triggered a security alert when screening technology detected what agents described as suspicious substances. The innocent coffee additive disappeared into the confiscation process, demonstrating how screening technology can flag common food products. This incident reflects the ongoing challenge of distinguishing between harmless consumer products and potentially dangerous substances using current screening technology capabilities. At Austin and Dallas Love Field airports, a post-surgery traveler faced confiscation of medical devices including a prescribed resin splint, compression sleeve, and hand braces. Despite proper documentation and obvious medical necessity, the items were deemed suspicious by screening personnel. The total value exceeded $200 in essential medical equipment, but more significantly, left a recovering patient without crucial support devices needed for healing and mobility. A traveler's walking cane faced temporary detention during investigation of an unrelated item, creating additional stress for someone requiring mobility assistance. These scenarios highlight the intersection between security requirements and accessibility needs. Small business travelers face unique challenges when transporting inventory and samples. At Baltimore Airport, over $200 worth of handmade merchandise was confiscated from a business owner, representing months of creative work destroyed by screening requirements. At Baltimore Airport, over $200 worth of handmade merchandise was confiscated from a business owner, representing months of creative work destroyed by screening requirements. Protein powder continues triggering screening alerts in 2025, forcing fitness enthusiasts to choose between risking confiscation or traveling without nutritional supplements. These products frequently require additional testing that can lead to disposal despite their legitimate nature. TSA's screening role extends beyond traditional security threats to include customs and wildlife enforcement. Seahorses preserved in liquor bottles have violated both liquid restrictions and wildlife transportation laws, though specific incidents date to earlier years rather than 2025. Seahorses preserved in liquor bottles have violated both liquid restrictions and wildlife transportation laws, though specific incidents date to earlier years rather than 2025. In documented cases, items like snakes and concealed firearms have been discovered, demonstrating the range of actual prohibited items that justify comprehensive screening procedures. Most viewers who've reached this point probably have their own TSA experiences that illustrate these patterns. What's the most surprising item you've had confiscated that seemed perfectly innocent? Share your airport security stories in the comments below. These experiences help document the real-world impact of security policies and show how enforcement affects different types of travelers. Your stories matter because they illustrate the human side of security procedures that can seem abstract in policy discussions. Based on TSA's annual reporting, liquids and gels represent the overwhelming majority of confiscated items, far exceeding weapons or genuine security threats. With over 904 million passengers screened in 2024, the volume of liquid confiscations creates substantial disposal challenges. Alcoholic beverages face restrictions based on alcohol content, with items over 70% prohibited entirely due to flammability concerns. These restrictions serve fire prevention purposes rather than traditional security screening. Food items generate thousands of confiscations annually, because they can mimic dangerous substances during screening or test positive for explosive residues. The 2025 travel season continued this trend with common condiments and spreads leading food confiscations. The pattern shows that TSA enforcement focuses primarily on items that trigger screening technology rather than items that pose obvious security threats to most travelers. The volume of discarded items creates environmental management challenges, though comprehensive data on disposal quantities isn't publicly available. Millions of containers of personal care products require processing through airport waste systems annually. The economic impact includes replacement costs for confiscated items, though claims of billions in economic damage lack supporting documentation. The practical impact on individual travelers can be significant when essential items are confiscated without replacement options. Baby item exemptions for formula and breast milk demonstrate that TSA recognizes certain liquids pose no security threat, indicating flexibility within the liquid restriction framework for essential needs. Independent testing has historically shown challenges in threat detection capabilities, with audits from 2015 revealing significant detection failures. However, TSA has implemented technological improvements, including advanced CT scanners and enhanced screening procedures since those earlier assessments. Current detection capabilities continue evolving with new technology deployment, though comprehensive effectiveness data isn't publicly available due to security considerations. The focus on liquid confiscations reflects screening priorities based on historical threat intelligence. Advanced screening technology development could potentially modify current liquid restrictions while maintaining security effectiveness. TSA continues piloting enhanced screening systems that may allow larger liquid containers in the future. Other countries have implemented different approaches to aviation security that achieve effective threat detection with varying passenger procedures, though direct comparisons require consideration of different threat environments and operational contexts. Travelers can protect themselves by consulting TSA's official resources before packing, including the "What Can I Bring" tool that provides current guidance on specific items. If this examination of TSA procedures provided useful insights into airport security realities, please consider subscribing. Content like this requires extensive research to ensure accuracy while explaining complex policies that affect millions of travelers. Understanding these systems helps travelers prepare more effectively for security screening while maintaining realistic expectations about enforcement procedures and requirements. Type "safe return" in the comments if you made it through this complete analysis. This phrase helps us identify viewers who engage with detailed content, and we appreciate everyone who takes time to understand these important travel topics. Your engagement helps these informational videos reach travelers who can benefit from understanding airport security procedures before their trips. The next time you're packing for travel, remember that understanding TSA categories and requirements can help you avoid common confiscation scenarios. The most frequently confiscated items are everyday liquids and gels that exceed size limits rather than dangerous objects. Knowledge about these procedures empowers better travel preparation and more realistic expectations about security screening processes. The system continues evolving with new technology and policy updates that aim to balance security requirements with passenger convenience. Thank you for watching this examination of airport security procedures, and safe travels to everyone planning their next journey. Understanding how these systems work helps create more informed and prepared travelers.